Many of us still have a point of doubt somewhere inside. Will this actually happen? Will this make a plethora of individuals wealthy? Will XRP be really used? There's a lot of questions popping out in from our inside. When you get answers directly from a Ripple like this, and if you don't trust them, if you still doubt them, this time I will try to validate that with another document, comparing it with another document or report from a well-reputed organization. Now this is from NTT Data, which is one among the largest software company in the world. So Ripple is 10 billion company now. NTT reached that target 10 years ago. So that's for the reputation of that company and this presentation. Now in this one, now what are all of them going through is interoperability. Now it's mandatory to go in to ISO 20022 by 2021 November. So like you are looking at the world of interoperability, and when you say world of interoperability, it really looks like the road ahead. And we kind of see this happening, like say this is really happening from 2021 to 2025, will take us on top of all other assets. We don't have any doubt in that, right? And the doubters will actually say, I missed the opportunity. So now to make it clear, we need to know what the road ahead looks like for this entire decade. How will we who invested and believe in the asset and will hold during long term and during the market maturity of what Ripple state as the adoption, what NTT states as the adoption through 2020 to 2025. So that is kind of a long term investment. Focus on this, and if others say XRP will never beat BTC and ETH, take them to this one and show them this and let them say that. But you don't have to believe them because you have the facts in front of you. If an experimental project reached that high because it was a breakthrough, then think, where will the actual adoption and the maturity take us? You see, it's not only Ripple. You concentrate here, you can see the cross-border payments through Ripple and RippleNet, but you can also see other markets here, right? So in the maturity and adoption phase, it's capital markets, trade finance. There is a lot more coming. And now, as we discuss through these documents, please do focus so you may not be having any kind of doubts, and you will be able to envision what is kind of coming up, the way it changes from early 1980s and what we are expecting in next 5 years. Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now this one is from Michael. He actually sent me a couple of tweets today, and these are really good, cool information. So for example, this one is showing SBI Ripple Asia CEO expects greater ODL expansion. Now you actually have to agree with that, because this tweet from Ian Nothing is showing you that XRP Ledger's payment volume is actually increasing, and he states that's pretty high. And yeah, we have to agree that. So when we see that the expansion is going in Asia, and they are looking 2021 as a great scale of adoption, what we just saw in that PDF, now we'll get back to that and explain, it kind of correlates with this. And at the same time, in the other area, Zerohead shows this. Italy approves new guidelines for central bank digital currency. So one by one, every government is coming out with their central bank digital currency. You can see even though they are a bit slow, they are coming out with this. Now what they need is, say, all around the world, you have central banks. They brought in their own central bank digital currency. Now you need to, communicate with each other. Once Italian banks send a message to US, they should understand, because the format should be same, the data should be same. So the interoperability is key for the existence, meaning the coexistence of all central banks like they exist today. If they need that in the era of central bank digital currency, they really need something more. Now, when we saw the vision which plotted by Ripple previously years back, say in 2017, and now that is happening literally, right? They are actually shaking up the money transfer space. Now we have heard the same words, say the word selection like shaking up the system from Christine Lagarde, and now the same thing is used there. Now again, this one is from Michael, and he shows this one, another step towards adoption. Here Union Bank Philippines is actually partnering with a cryptocurrency firm. You have to think that a bank is actually partnering with a cryptocurrency firm to actually increase the cross-border payments, so their customers, citizens, will be able to do that. And this one is from Corey Johnson, and I felt it interesting because they're kind of pointing out, you can see this is kind of, you say you are against China, you are doing this against China, that against China, but you are kind of supporting this one for China. That's what I understand from this. That means they are kind of saying there are American made crypto or digital assets here. Why are you not supporting them? So for me, I will state, if you wait, you're going to receive endless profit. When you actually see articles pointing this out, don't have that doubt, because they're actually showing you towards 2030, which is kind of the long direction. Now, when we actually look at this, you can actually see the time allotted for the market maturity entirely, as they consider the capital market, trade market, and everything. It's kind of up to 2030. So 2030 and the adoption like this, I kind of agree with that. But the key aspect to understand here is that was experimental projects and experimental platforms. Now, yes, for Ethereum there are being practical implementations happening based on smart contracts. That itself is now not in an experimental stage. You can see its practical applications. But when you actually look at this, here you can actually understand that that is the road ahead. Now, in 2017 to 2020, these companies were established, so that's still here. Ripple is born, Bitcoin is invented, R3 Consortium, SBI Japan is born. So till date it's like that. But from 2020 to 2025, Ripple becomes the standard for international money transfer between banks. So if that company actually sees this, now, yeah, that company belongs to Japan. So understand, they are already there and they are implementing this in their country. Now, that is first thing which kind of connects it here. Okay, that's just this space. Now, the second one here is the interesting part, which will make the XRP ledger huge. Say, Interledger Protocol, ILP, becomes the standard protocol for connecting banks' cash ledgers. Now, that is about every different ledgers across the world. So in that aspect, this one, everything will be connected. Now, how that everything will be connected, there's another figure which may be familiar to you guys. Say this one is showing the old settlement plumbing or the railways, and then this one with Interledger Protocol. First, they're actually getting all aboard in the Interledger Protocol. Say the central banks are actually testing through them, and then they will connect it to the XRP ledger. Because if you have any doubt, read here. As banks accelerate RippleNet adoption worldwide, financial institutions will start using XRP ledger for liquidity, provisioning, and cross-currency global real-time gross settlement. Now, once they start to understand that, they enter here. That is just the cross-border real-time payment from bank to bank happening through Interledger Protocol, and the swap or the bridge happening through XRP in the XRP ledger, because that's the only thing which allows you to execute that transaction in 3 seconds with all the regulatory clarity. And then comes this one. So you have to actually check out the time frame. This and this is happening simultaneously. It's happening in parallel. You can actually say that. This one is way back 2017. They were testing, they were doing that. 50 Japanese banks are currently integrating with RippleNet through Xcurrent, blah blah blah. You all know the details. Now it's more than 300. Now in this one, they are integrating XRP ledger, and this one they're connecting it to all the different platforms. So if you remember at the top here, when we talked about this, we showed you like R3 Coda, Hyperledger, and others. So when you come down, you can see that Hyperledger, R3 Coda, digital assets, Ethereum network. So all the other networks will be running or touching XRP ledger at one point through Interledger Protocol, because if they have to actually exchange value. Now, yes, personally, I do think that this one here, the ILP and the XRP ledger, that connection will also come here to the XRP ledger. Why? Because say, for example, here you are swapping it between one currency to another currency, say from Chinese to European or European to US. So in that aspect, you'll have the same here. Say Ethereum network is sending you Ether, and you don't actually accept Ether. You accept, say, for example, a different token. So or say you accept the general United States dollar. Now you can directly go from Ethereum to United States dollar. The thing is, the Ethereum network is not scalable, as you know, it's not cheapest, it's not fastest. So automatically the ILP will provide you the best asset to do that transfer, to bridge that. That's why we say it's the global bridge asset. And when we say that, keep in mind, it really is happening. Now this is a different presentation which I'm going to go through. It shows interoperability of the IntelliJ and why it is so important, because the lack of interoperability is what keeps the entire financial system slow. Now when they are actually speeding up the entire system, this is now possible, right? From PayPal through Visa to so forth through Visa, but this is not possible now. That is the lack of interoperability. So when people around the world is moving into mobile payments, they actually need that. Now when we come down this one, this is what I would like to highlight here. When they are connecting IntelliJ protocol, that is a standalone project invented at Ripple. You have to understand that that is a standalone project, that's not Ripple itself. So every different company coming in, or the organization stepping into the ILP, will actually show you the real adoption. If you remember, in the last video we actually discussed about a PDF file in which they talk about different type of DLTs and how the value, you can actually value DLT. Now that was from Westpac. Okay, so in that one, how did they value the blockchain? If multiple organizations can coexist providing value to each other, that is the best blockchain. So in that aspect, if you see here, you can see banks, central banks, payment companies, tech giants, consulting companies, blockchain companies. Currently it's 300 plus contributors and it's growing. So if you actually want to go through this document, you can actually go through the entire document. It's directly from Ivan Schwartz. If you check this in Google, you can get this one. And then this one from Dilip Rao. Now this document, it's actually showing you the Internet of Value. We talked detailed about this, and we told about we will be touching every different ledgers, because say every different ledgers are like walled gardens. And recently by the announcement of PayID, they told, right, in their Twitter, we are here to connect all the walled gardens. To enable the interoperability between walled garden, they are here now. And if you see one tweet recently, I don't know whether I have it open now, but that was really interesting for me, because when I saw that, I was really surprised. Yeah, this one from Stedas, PayID and at Ripple. So the idea behind PayID is to simplify the ability to send someone the money as easy as you can send email. So the email, or the Internet of Information, provided you that interoperability. Now actually, I was actually searching for another tweet. In that tweet, okay, I'll just explain what I saw there. In that tweet, it actually shows you this one. That is cool. Like, Ripple owns the trademark for PayID. So if that is the case, then another thing built on top of IntelliJ protocol. You don't have to doubt, you don't have to think about anything. And what are those things connecting? It's the digital wallets, national payment systems, blockchain, and beyond, everything. So when you just see digital wallets and national payment system, keep this in mind. Say for example, US is going to give you stimulus through the national payment system, and they're going to give you through some wallets, online wallet, so you don't have to cash it out. You can use it easily, and they can send it immediately. And the fees for those transfers are negligible. So they will actually move into that. But what are the actual issues when they use blockchain? That's this: scalability, transaction privacy, interoperability, usage of digital assets for transactions. All of these are actually addressed by the IntelliJ protocol. So the banks currently are concerned about this, but ILP has solved this. And that is the reason why you can see in this one, back in 2017, these central banks and local banks were actually using this. They were actually trying, through different experimental setups, but that was 3 years back. So now it has changed a lot. So coming back into the document, when we move, the next thing is how does the digital asset fit in? And when we talk about this particular digital asset, now we don't have to explain this, right? The transaction speed, scalability, and all the other factors associated with XRP is what makes it huge. Now this one shows you that $150 trillion just in cross-border payments annually. So when they are targeting cross-border payments here, you have to actually understand, don't close your eyes, you have to actually understand by just focusing here. cross-border payments, just this area is 150 trillion, and that's kind of a small market when you compare the capital markets and trade finance. So if this small market itself is 150 trillion, imagine what's actually coming into the pipelines. So that's what I think when I see this, but it's not that, right? Majority doesn't actually care what the scientific investor think. Instead, we can actually look at what institutions think. Poor experience causes attrition. So, they actually understand that. And this is from Seagate. They states zero tolerance for payment failures. So already Swift has directly told that, we kind of have 6% issues there. But this one from Audi is actually what you have to keep in mind when the company Ripple comes out and states that we are going to go into low value payments, which, have high frequency. Why it have high frequency and why it is in demand? You can see the statement directly from Audi, right? Micropayments on demand. That changes the world wherever they can pay. Now, when we say that, you have to consider it's not only Audi. If you look at Amazon, Uber, Seagate, and everyone, they are like multinational companies. They were present all around the world, and they need that kind of network or railways or plumbing to move their value. If they want to pay someone some way, they need that value there. So in this technology, in ILP, they can do that instantaneously whenever they want. Say if someone want to pay the Uber taxi driver, they can actually do that instantaneously, so there is no issues. And in yesterday's video, when I told like correspondent banking relationships are going down, we have already used different documents to prove that, but this one also showcased the same thing. Correspondent banking networks are actually reducing because it actually raises a lot of regulatory issues, so you have to actually maintain a lot of balance. It's a lot of cost for the banks. And in yesterday's video, we already talked and showed, right, the banks are actually facing issues now. So what is the solution for majority of the issues like this? You can actually just jump into this one. So this simple integration into the new infrastructure allows the real-time payment, which can be trackable around the world, and there is no failures till now. That is an exceptional thing to watch out. So when you're actually seeing all these fundamentals changing, all these fundamentals coming out, now these documents, what you have to understand is from 3 years back. Now we're actually seeing all these corridors going live. So they already had this information previously, but just the governments, they are really slow. The regulators, they are damn slow. So when you actually see these stuff, they are envisioning this thing and it is being implemented practically. So if you are looking at this thing, you should actually understand this is coming. And when you understand this is coming, what you have to think is, are you prepared for that? If that is actually happening, are you ready to take advantage of that? Because here, as banks and other financial institutions adopt open standards like IntelliJ protocol to connect between each other and blockchains, Internet of Value will emerge. And when that happens, will you be still here to take the profits, or will you be kind of bashing out, no, the price is not going anywhere, I don't want this, I can hold? That's up to you completely now. What I presented here are the facts and documents which I got personally when I researched. So if you are doing your personal research, then you may get even more. So, you can actually concrete the foundation of the knowledge base which you have for this particular asset. Now, hope if you guys like the content, and if you guys like the content, please do support the channel, hit that like button. And if you have any kind of doubts, do let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to support the channel, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. So hopefully we'll meet tomorrow with even better information. I'll meet you guys by then.